Welcome to another episode of Ask Mr. Wonderful, and guess who I've got with me? You've met him before. Teddy is an absolute author of great work on watches. I love him. I love his depth of knowledge. But you know, we talk so much about really expensive pieces all the time. So I decided to challenge Teddy. I said, listen, let's both go into our collections and come up with inexpensive pieces that are spectacular watches. Something you'd be proud to wear on your wrist you don't have to spend a fortune on. And I really mean it. I think everybody says, oh, you have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to build a watch collection. Not true. You can get a very diverse and beautiful set of dials very inexpensively. So let's go to Teddy.
Well, thank you for that flattering intro.
Well,
I appreciate it.
It's true. We've done some great work together, mostly on the really high-end Maisons and all kinds of brands that cost a fortune. But now it's time to go the other direction. Show me what you think is great value.
So what I did was I mixed a few different things. So I had some stuff that's personal watches, stuff that we sell on our site, but I wanted to kind of start from like the lower end to begin with. So I kind of call these like gateway drug kind of watches.
And you will mention price, right?
Yes, I will mention prices. Okay. So for all of these are all sub $500. And these are watches that people...
Sub 500.
Sub $500. So I want you to...
Chihuahua, caramba!
I thought it would be fun to just see how you would react to them. So a couple places...
I mean, I have to ask you right out of the gate.
Yes.
If you're buying a watch for 500, should you assume it's not collectible? You should assume it's not a great investment? Or should you just write it off over time?
So I would not classify it as an investment. This is just a fun piece. This is just a fun watch.
Just fun to watch, 500 bucks.
Fun watch. Some of these do retain their value reasonably well compared to other things under $500 or what you're maybe going to buy, but that's not the reason why you're getting it. You're getting it just to maybe get into this level of watches for the first time.
And will we know some of the brands?
Absolutely will. So for this first range, I mean, one that's probably going to be very popular is Timex. And this is the entry level of entry level. So this is $260. This is the Timex Marlin. So back in the 1960s, you might have been familiar with seeing some of the Marlins in the department
Back in the
stores.
1960s, I couldn't afford a $200 watch.
Well, that was probably back then. I mean, maybe talking 10 bucks, you know, back then.
Wow.
So, they just,
so the you know, it's retro vintage now.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
So that watch has been so popular for this newer enthusiasts getting into the hobby for the first time. So $260, you got a Miyota caliber inside of it.
And it's just fun to put on your wrist and say, yeah, it's a Timex.
Yeah, it's just fun. You know, like if hey, I'm just going out and about. So
that's cool.
That's a good entry door. So a couple other places to look. So this is a brand that has become very much an entry door into the world of entry-level divers.
Yeah.
It's Orient. So Orient is a Japanese brand.
Yeah. They're
actually under the Seiko Epson Corporation. So that is called the Kano. That one's a little bit more striking. It's got a red dial. That
That's definitely a diver watch.
Yes.
Okay.
So around $250 to $300 for those.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. What do you think?
For $250, would you drown if you went down with the tank on?
No. That's 200 meters water resistance. Very capable.
Wow.
You know, so it's.
Okay, that's a surprise to me. That's a pretty good deal. That's a spectacular looking piece. For that price?
$260.
We're not talking secondhand. This
is brand new.
Brand new retail.
Brand new retail.
Factory pricing.
Absolutely. Factory warranty and all.
This is a whole new world no one knows about, Teddy, you've discovered here.
People know about it. I don't know if you know about it.
No, I don't. $250, no, I haven't looked at too many watches for $250.
Two other places to look. I know you're in love with dials.
Yes.
Seiko to me.
Okay. You can't go wrong with Seiko.
I want you to look at this watch. So this is the SRPF 41. This is, how much, I mean, look at that dial, just look at it close. I mean.
This is not a grand Seiko, this is a Seiko.
It is a Seiko, and that's an important distinction to make, but the dial on that, what do you mean?
Spectacular. Automatic watch.
Automatic watch.
Price point?
$480.
Wow, you're just taking my breath away. That, by the way, that looks like it's worth 1,200 times more. It's just beautiful.
I mean, that dial is, that is, technically it is.
Well, they're famous for their dials. It can't be one of their hand-painted dials for that price.
No, but
they've emulated the look.
Yes, they have, and it's very well executed. So there's another very popular series in this range, which is called the Cocktail Time. So they basically replicate inspiration from like Japanese cocktails, and probably the best dials you're going to find for $400 or $500.
Really nice piece. I mean, I have to admit, that's a great deal. But I always felt, Seiko, you get value.
You do.
Yeah, and, you know, I buy a lot of Grand Seiko product because it's Patek Philippe quality almost. You know, that's the way I look at it, at a fraction of the price.
Seiko is, I mean, people love Seiko.
That's
absolutely love Seiko. So I thought that, as a guy who loves dials, figured that was a good one. So this is a Bulova Lunar Pilot. You might be thinking, this kind of looks like a Speedmaster.
Know the brand, everybody does.
Cool backstory behind this watch. So this was a watch that actually went to the moon as well.
No way.
1971, Apollo 15, David Scott wore
You're
this watch.
kidding.
And how this story goes.
You're a walking encyclopedia.
I don't know how much of this is fact or fiction, but apparently it had a Speedmaster on it.
Yeah.
Crystal popped off. And when
I heard this story.
And when he got off the lunar module, he brought his own personal Bulova lunar pilot. So that's the cool thing about this.
He had it as a backup watch.
He had it as a backup watch.
Is there any truth to that story?
There is truth to that story that he actually brought it on because it actually sold at auction in 2015 for $1.3 million.
And what's the original factory price?
This, on the bracelet right here, we had it for $600.
Wow.
So
it went from 600 to over $1 million.
Well, that's for his personal
I
watch.
get it, but it's the same piece.
But it does have some really
Yeah.
interesting, backstory to it. It also
Yeah.
has a high-frequency quartz. So traditional quartz is going to oscillate like 32,000 times per second. That's like 262,000 times.
Yeah, that's
per
a
second.
very
So-
attractive piece at a great price. I mean, I think what's good about this is you're really opening my eyes up to some very interesting price points here.
So that's getting in, so about $600 there.
Yeah.
Now once you go to a next phase up,
Okay.
some other stuff you might think is cool. This one is not probably the